Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to my first episode of the Secret Society Investigation Series. We will be conducting today a thorough analysis of the Order, also famously known as Skull and Bones. While the Illuminati is a general name for the elite collective of secret societies that make up the organizations and collectives that control us, Skull and Bones seems to make up the congressional branch of this so-called Illuminati. What I mean by that is that most governors of states and most members of Congress are comprised of Skull and Bones members, also known as Bonesmen. They also call themselves Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. I noted this, that they call themselves the Brotherhood of Death, and I said, okay, I should probably go into some kind of philosophical thing. Why do all these secret societies seem to have some sort of sick obsession with death and the afterlife, but they look at it in a negative light? Like people of God, right? The chosen ones. We believe in something that is omnipotent and higher power. We believe in life. Righteousness believes in life. That is the quote that I made up. And evil believes in death. And that's what they put their faith and their trust in, is death. It's a secret student society founded at Yale University. Pause if you need to read that. In New Haven, Connecticut. Read that if you need to. The oldest senior class society at the university, Skull and Bones has become a central institution for its powerful alumni and conspiracy theories. Remember who created the term conspiracy theory, guys? Right after 9/11, we all know who it was. But anyway, so this is one of the big three societies at this school. The other are the Scroll and Key and the Wolf's Head. So you guys can check that out. Look at that. An upside down Egyptian cross with the wolf on the head. Pretty crazy, huh? Members are known as Bonesmen, members of the Order, or initiated to the Order. Now, what is the Skull and Bones initiation? Let's look into this. So, whenever you're looking something up, make sure you look up something good. Duck, duck, go. Wait for that to load. Alright, so let's look up Skull and Bones initiation ritual, just to get a general idea of what kind of things they like to do. Here's an old picture of Skull and Bones members. Look at them. They all kind of look the same. They got the same similar look, right? You know what I'm saying. And they look very just evil. Just look at the way that they're collectively initiated into the room, how they're standing. Look at this guy's face. Who else looks pretty evil? Look at this guy. He looks pretty freaking evil. This guy looks like he doesn't know what's going on. This guy looks pretty evil. This guy looks pretty stern. This guy definitely looks evil. Using high-tech night vision video equipment, able to peer through the gloom in the inner courtyard of the tomb in New Haven. That's another thing, guys. Check this out. If you look at the meeting place, the tomb, Skull and Bones. Look, check this out. They actually, the tomb, this is where they meet in this thing, and they call it the tomb. But if you look up the definition of tomb, look at this, guys. A large vault, typically an underground one for burying the dead. So again, the obsession with death and meeting in a tomb, right? Kind of gives you the idea of how they perceive reality, right? They perceive death as something to love. So here is some stuff. The observer team witnessed the George W. effect. Intoxicated by renewed proximity to presidential power, a robed bonesman posing as George W. initiates an eerily accurate Texas drawl. I'm gonna ream you like I reamed Al Gore, and I'm gonna kill you like I killed Al Gore. Privileged Skull and Bones members mocked the assault on Abner Louima by crying out repeatedly, "Take that plunger out of my ASS." Skull and Bones members hurled obscene sexual insults at initiates as they were forced to kneel and kiss a skull at the feet of the initiators. So, this is the initiation ritual, bro. It's a humiliation ritual. What is a humiliation ritual? It's a ritual that is used to compromise somebody. Humiliation. The action, they suffer the humiliation of losing and being around. Now let's add ritual to the end of that. Here, I'll just explain what a humiliation ritual is, right? So let's just say that I want to join a group, right? Well, the people that are the people's group that I'm going to join, they have to make sure that I'm compromised. So usually with these secret societies, they will take somebody, make them do something really bad to a kid, kill somebody, kind of like gangs. Like if you're in a street gang, a lot of times they make you go kill somebody. They call it putting in work, and that's your initiation into the gang. Sometimes they have to kill an innocent person. With these secret societies, it's way worse than just killing somebody. Not saying any crime is worse than another crime, but let's just talk about things they do. Epstein Island. These are the type of people that go to Epstein Island. They're the type of people that have somebody that wants to join, make them do something weird with a kid, and then film it, put it on camera, so that if they ever speak out about what goes on in that tomb, then you know what happens. You either get killed, or they're gonna put that propaganda out. I call it propaganda because it's really messed up that they make people do these evil things, film them, and then they're initiated because they have been compromised. Once an individual is compromised, you have complete control over them, especially if they're compromised because of the fact that they're in your secret society. Look, they have adapted in response to criticism for elitism and discrimination, right? So, of course, when they were accused for elitism and discrimination, they decided to let black people in because they understood that if they don't, then the population will rise up against them because of the wokeness, right? President and Gay Student Organization in 1975 was also initiated, or at least tapped. They call it tapped, right? Now look at this, crooking. Skull and Bones has a reputation for stealing keepsakes from. They knew that the black population would rise up against them if they didn't. Eventually, any population. I'm not saying it's because of race, but I'm just saying if there was just an elite order of rich white men, do you think that they're gonna just let that happen? No, they're gonna rise up and revolt. But so they let them in and decided that they need to compromise every single race and ethnic background in order to have total control over the masses. If they don't have people in every class that the masses relate to, they can't control the minds of every race. That's why they need to have elite members of every race in order to get specific populations to go along with their plans. Okay, now you can either see that for what it is, or you can say it's a conspiracy theory, but everything's a conspiracy theory in 2025. Skull and Bones has a reputation for stealing keepsakes from other Yale societies or campus buildings. So they call it crooking. They basically steal stuff from other societies, and they like human skulls. So we talked about the tomb. The Skull and Bones Hall, located at 64 High Street in New Haven, Connecticut, is otherwise known as the tomb. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. Yale University. What is Yale University? Let's just see what kind of school harbors these kind of individuals. Yale. What is a Yale? A mythical beast from European folklore that is often depicted as a goat or antelope with a boar's tusk and large swiveling horns. Now, in the Bible, goats were actually a very important sacrifice to give on an altar to Jesus, or not to Jesus, but to God. It was a sacrifice, you know. It was an honoring of God, honoring of the Lord, and they supposedly, this is a conspiracy theory that you guys should look into. Supposedly, all these animals that have horns, they are genetically modified. They created these animals with horns in order to make it seem like it was natural, because horn means horny, horny God. And what I mean by horny is this. You all know about the Baphomet, right? This is the Baphomet, the transhumanist agenda. The transhumanist agenda is Satanism. It's guised in allegory and disguised in secrecy. That's why they don't want anybody to know. But if you go to any satanic clique, sect, church, whatever you want to call it, they have this as one of their things. You got the goat head with the horns, the horny goat with angel wings, with tits and a phallus. Okay? Excuse the language here, and kids, click off the video because this is not for children. But yes, so you see they have a phallus with two snakes, two serpents, and yes, that's the medical sign. That's also the DNA, right? That's the DNA sign, and it's the generative principle. That's what Freemasons believe, so I'm sure that this secret society believes the same thing, that the creation of life comes from the phallus, and the phallus is the most powerful thing in all of creation, because it brings forth life, it brings forth generations. Alright, so, and then you got the 6-point pentagram without the circle on the top. You know what that stands for? And the torch. He's bearing the light, because Lucifer is known as the light bearer in Satanist belief, right? So let's go back. That's why never trust a goat, right? Because goats are not real anymore. Goats never used to have horns if you look back in the beginning times. But I do believe that they were genetically modified to have horns, or maybe they did have horns back in the day, but they definitely use it as their god, alright? Now, let me take a look at my notes. Since we got through the horny god part, right? Let's look at the next page of my notes. So, I call this the Illuminati of politicians, and if you want to know why, I will show you right now. Let me scroll down here so I can find, oh yeah, so they're saying that they only have an endowment of 17 million, but they have a lot more. Now we click on this, list of Skull and Bones members. Look, New York State Assembly, Frederick Ellsworth Mather. Adam Joel Silkwood, Administrator, Clergyman, Secretary of War, Alfonso Taft. Look at these guys. Most of them are decrepit old white people who are extremely rich, and they're all men. It's an all-male organization, kind of like the Freemasons, but there are sects of Freemasonry that include women, like the Order of the Eastern Star. Though that is a female sect or lodge of Freemasons. Now, Ashler, who is newspaper editor, so they control everything. They control the Secretary of State of Delaware. They control the United States Congress. They control representatives from New York. They control professor at Yale. They control U.S. representative from Connecticut. U.S. Secretary of State Attorney General William Maxwell Evarts. Look at him, dude. He kind of looks like an evil person. You know what I'm saying? And you got this guy, founder of Skull and Bones. He's a extreme thing. Like, now, there's a theory that Skull and Bones is just a denomination of Freemasonry, and that if you are a part of Skull and Bones, you're initiated into Freemasonry first. So if you're a member of Skull and Bones, if you ever find somebody at Yale that's a member of Skull and Bones, I'm pretty sure they're a Freemason as well, or at least just know, I wrote here in my notes that secret societies tend to commingle, because they all consider themselves elite organizations that are better than the vile multitude. The vile multitude is the masses. That's why when you see a pyramid, the top of the pyramid represents an omnipotent higher power, while the bottom, that has the all-seeing eye, while the bottom of the pyramid represents the vile multitude, or the masses that have been uninitiated. That's from Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike. Look it up. That's Freemason literature, and it's incredibly good read. Now, Alfonso Taft. So you see why I call it the Illuminati of politicians in Congress, because you got the entertainment Illuminati, which every single part of the Illuminati is mostly Masonic. It doesn't matter if it's the Jesuits. It doesn't matter if it's the rappers. It doesn't matter if it's the politicians. It doesn't matter if it's the world leaders. They're all Freemasons, and every secret society is a sect of Freemasonry. Now, another thing. Since we're starting the secret society research, I want to go into something. Why would righteousness require secrecy? Do you understand? Like, okay, I could understand keeping your plans private because you don't want people to target you. But at the same time, when you're calling yourself Skull and Bones and you have a human skull with these weird bones, foot bones, on the thing with Order 322 on it, people are going to wonder, people are going to make theories, and people are going to investigate you. Now, so in the final analysis, Skull and Bones is in fact the Illuminati of politicians, and is the primary organization that initiates Freemasons into political parties and members of Congress. Thank you guys for listening. I know it wasn't as in-depth as I would like, but I will do a part 2 where I just go into the conspiracy theories. And yeah, if you like it, give it a like. If not, give it a dislike. I really don't care. But the next one we're going to do is going to be on Freemasonry, and it's going to be a lot longer and a lot more in-depth. Alright, love you all.